Hello guys, welcome to the Sportsman, and today I'm joined by England Kitman, member of the team that helped them get to the Euro 2020 final. Pat Frost. Pat, how are you doing this morning?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
So Pat, start off with, how long have you been the England Kitman and how did you get into it?
Since 2018, I did the youth squads from 2004 and worked my way up. Was lucky enough to go to South Africa and Brazil as an assistant, and then got the gig in 2018 at the same time as Neil. We both got it at the same time.
How have you guys been getting on in the last 3 years then? Been loving it?
Yeah, it's been brilliant.
Yeah, and are you guys any good at football yourselves? Do you think the boys would rate your skills?
I'll let Neil answer that one.
No, I'm Sunday morning football. I am Simon. Pat's a little bit. He's probably too humble to admit it, but he's probably a little bit better than that. He's a Saturday afternoon sort of player.
And do you guys occasionally get to have a kick around with the players? Any staff v players games or anything like that?
They have staff v staff. They have an internal staff game, but there's never any. The odd player might come and watch and give us a bit of stick, but they don't ever join in.
They don't want you showing them up, do they? That's the problem.
No, that'll be it.
Right, on to the actual kitman stuff. Which player has the most demands in terms of different stuff they want on a match day?
Well, Neil packs all the match day stuff up, so he's definitely the one to answer this.
I wouldn't say there's any particular person, but definitely the goalkeepers are the one who need the most amount of kit, because if you can imagine, they're going out to warm up, they're diving around and getting absolutely filthy before they even, two of them are then going to go and sit on the bench, so they need a whole new fresh set of kit. So as terms of players, it's definitely the goalkeepers who their piles can be sort of, you probably can't see, but sort of this sort of high, because they need double everything. One to warm up in, then one to go and sit on the bench with, and then potentially another set that they've got to then go onto the pitch if required at any time.
And have any of the players got any sorts of strange superstitions that they want from their kit before a match?
I don't know about superstitions. I think some of the players have got lucky pants that they like to travel to the game in and stuff like that they'll come and give me and Pat them last minute, and we've got to try and sort that out, because it'll be the end of the world, if that doesn't happen. But they all know what they want, and they just, as long as we can provide that and try and make it as easy as possible for them, so they got nothing else to think about, when the game's about to start.
I wanted to ask you about pants, actually, because on the Peter Crouch podcast, Peter Crouch admitted that the players always get their pants provided for them. Is that still the case? Is it the worst part of your job? Surely the players could sort their own pants out for a match.
Well, they could, but then we'd still be laundering them. We'd still have to try and mark them up somehow. But so I'd say probably 90% use the slips. We call them slips in the trade. We call them slips. But I think there's probably still 10% who'll just use their own.
Yeah, and whose kit
they
after
don't like sharing for obvious reason.
Yeah, and whose kit comes back the filthiest? Is it always keepers that you struggle with?
Yeah, it's always keepers, or centre halves.
And Pat, one for you here. I've heard a little bit about the stick that Jack Grealish was giving you. You being a West Brom fan, a West Brom season ticket holder. What was he saying to you? What were you giving him back?
Listen, Jack's a great bloke to have around, by the way. He gives me a bit of stick, and I give him just as much, if not more, possibly. So it was slightly exaggerated. I did read some of that. It was slightly exaggerated.
Right.
It was one of those. He sings anti-Albion songs, and I sing anti-Villa songs, and it's all good-natured stuff.
Is there a lot about about the camp? A lot of good banter between you and the players?
Yeah, there is actually. Yeah, there is. Declan Rice will give a bit out. So will Mason Mount, and he's scored a couple against Albion, so he'll always drop that out, So yeah, it's been good.
Do you find like the younger players are a bit quieter, or do they come in and are quite loud, or does it just depend on the individual?
No, do you know what? They're actually all brilliant. There's no, there are quieter lads, but they all get stuck in. They're when they put their boots on before they go out to training, they're in 2 rows of benches, and there's 13 on one side and 13 on the other. And, me and Neil will sit there thinking, come on, lads, and they'll sit there chatting for an hour and whatever, and they all join in, they all get going. So,
and for both of you, have you got a funniest player in the England camp, or do you just chat and talk with everyone?
Neil, you go first.
I always find Jordan Pickford funny for whatever reason. His observational skills are unbelievable. He doesn't miss a trick. He knows everybody's name. He'll know your family's names. He knows what your hobbies are and everything. But Jordan Pickford, yeah, for his observational stuff, Jordan Pickford makes me laugh the most, I would guess.
What about you, Pat?
Well, Neil's right. Jordan doesn't miss a trick. By the way, he said, "I gave you some gloves 5 years ago. What have you done with them? Have you still got them?" He doesn't miss anything like that. So yeah, I'll probably agree with Neil in that respect. He's quite funny. Although Sam Johnson's he's been quite funny on this trip because every day I've been asking him to sign a new deal for Albion and stuff like that. So I think he was trying to ignore me at the end of the trip. Like he'd had enough.
I was going to say, did you get anywhere with him or not?
No, nowhere at all.
And I was going to ask from Euro 2020, did you get any kit? Did you keep anyone's kit for your family members or anything like that?
I've been doing the Kitman work for a long time, and I never keep memorabilia. I've never kept anything. I might get the odd request for a signed shirt for a charity or, signed pair of boots, which I'll try and help people out with. But personally, I don't keep anything.
And ditto for me, really. I almost regret not sort of keeping stuff. It's almost too late to start now, but I'm exactly the same as Pat. I quite enjoy giving it other people if I ever lucky enough to get anything. And, no, I haven't got anything. I might keep the odd accreditation with my picture on it and stuff, but other than that, no, I haven't got anything specific that I've kept.
That's fine. And you both just spent the last 6 weeks with some of the best players in the country, and it was a brilliant tournament for everyone, fans, staff, players, everyone involved. What was the experience like for you guys?
For me, it was Russia was outstanding, but this was probably took it to another level. We were away for 47 days, but it never ever felt like that. It just went so quick, and it was absolutely brilliant experience. We're footy fans as well, of course, so that makes it even better for us. Because if we weren't working at the games, I'd be trying to get tickets.
Same for you as well?
The same for me as well, considering, like Pat says, we was away 46, 47 days. The staff got on so well, behind the scenes. There was no sort of... Usually there's a couple who don't get it. There was nothing like that. Everybody was just all pulling in the same direction. We all knew the score with the families. That was the biggest thing for me, not being able to have any interaction with our families, even if we had a day off or half a day off, because of the bubble. We're always in a bubble in the job we do. We call it a bubble or a goldfish bowl. But this time, because of COVID, it was a real bubble. We couldn't even sort of get out. We, a couple of the times, Pat's family and my family were fortunate enough to be at the games, and we couldn't even get within sort of 30 yards of them. The stewards would be saying no, so as there was to all the players, so you couldn't even enjoy the moment with the family. So that was probably the hardest bit, but we was all in the same boat, players as well. We was no different.
Yeah, really tough this time around. Hopefully things are a bit more relaxed when it comes to the World Cup. I want to try and gauge how much you guys feel a part of it, feel a part of the squad, feel part of the team and the staff. Are you feeling like, you're really pushing towards this one goal as a collective?
Without any shadow of a doubt, the main aim was to win the tournament, and that'll be the aim to win in the World Cup in Qatar. And Gareth has got this knack of... he's just one of those blokes who can get everyone on side. Everyone's pulling in the right direction, like Neil says. And there's one aim and one goal. That was to win the tournament. And the next aim now will be to win in Qatar. Simple as that.
Yeah, Pat's right. We was talking actually in the van on the way home. Was like, is there anyone we're not going to see again? And the answer is no. They're all going to be there the next time. We're such a young team. These are starting. They're not coming to the end. I would suggest that anyone who was part of this Euros is still going to be part of or in contention for the World Cup in Qatar. There's nobody who's close to sort of retiring or anything like that. So that's what we got to remember. And you look at Italy, they was a lot older than us, I would say. Just look at their two centre halves, where we're a young team. So, onwards and upwards, really.
Yeah, a whole lot of experience in that Italy team. How much does defeat hurt the staff just as much as the players? What have you guys been experiencing the days following that final?
Well, I'm a sore loser anyway. So it affects me just as much as it would affect Harry Kane, and I'm guessing he would say the same. He knows the staff, everyone wanted to win. They were desperate. And do you know what? We probably thought we were going to win it, certainly at half time, even with 35, 40 minutes to go, we're 1-0 up in the flipping final. It was one of those things but you soon get over it. You've been in football a long time. Defeats happen. They're just tougher to take when you're in the final, when you're that close.
Yeah. Same for you, Neil.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's, I don't even know if it's quite sunk in yet how close we was, really. I don't know whether we was closer at being 1-0 up after 60 odd minutes or whenever it was, or whether we was closer knowing we'd got 3 penalties to go to win. But yeah, it just hasn't sunk in yet how close we was. Yeah, we're all as disappointed. We're all the same, from any player to us backroom staff. We're just gutted. But the amount of positives we can take out the tournament are amazing, really. So we never dreamt we'd have got to the final like we did.
Yeah, definitely. It was an amazing tournament and an awful lot to be proud of as well. Was there anything you guys saw in the dressing room during the tournament that you thought this is a special moment?
One of the games, I can't remember which one it was. He'd obviously been doing press, and when he came in, the rest of the squad burst into his song, that the fans sing, and the staff joined in as well. So it's little things like that.
Yeah.
Same. He took that well as well, because I'm not sure how he perceives that song, to be honest. But he was all good, and he seemed to enjoy it, didn't he, Pat? I don't know if he did. Yeah.
Are you guys in the dressing room ahead of kickoff then, as soon as the players walk out, heading out the tunnel? Were there any massive motivational speeches, especially ahead of the final or anything like that?
Well, listen, I'm guessing you're asking me that question for a reason. There's always a huddle. Literally, the last thing they do before they go out, there's a huddle. And the game against Germany, Harry spoke for probably was only 20 seconds. It would have seemed like a bit long at the time, but when he speaks and everyone's in this huddle, and he spoke, and he just spoke so passionately. I thought, we can't lose this game. And we didn't, as it happens. But things like that, when you're a fan and you're privileged to be on the inside of an experience in that, we know we are very, very lucky what we do. And there's 30 million people who want to step in our shoes straight away. So, we know we're privileged, and we know we're very lucky.
And that huddle that Pat's on about, that isn't just the players and the coaching. That's to a man or woman in that dressing room. We're all part of it. We're all in this together. So literally, even if there's not enough space, they're trying to squeeze everybody in to make sure everybody is in this huddle, because it's all of us. We're all in it together. So,
that's brilliant team unity, isn't it? Brilliant that everyone's together for that. Did the final feel different in that dressing room? I know you say the huddle was the same, but did it feel different? Did it feel like this is it? This is what we've been working towards?
Yeah, a bit, but no, not massive different, was it? I don't think, Pat. It was just almost like business as usual.
The same passionate speech, same stuff, and you walked out the dressing room thinking, we've got this. Just wasn't to be, unfortunately, on the night. Yeah,
and what was your experience like watching those penalties? Were you arm in arm on the touchline and just wishing for the best?
We're all involved in that. We're putting our arms in the air when we score and our chins on the floor when we miss one. It's one of them. We're all part there. I think there must have been 35 of us down the side of the pitch on that night for the penalty shootout.
Yeah, I want to know your guys' experience in the moments after that Saka miss, and obviously everyone was absolutely devastated. Was your role? Did you go and see any of the players? Were you talking to the other members of staff, to Southgate, anything like that?
No, myself and Neil. So I think as soon as we missed the penalty shootout was over, we started gathering kit up and literally started our clear up then. We didn't venture over there. You have to know there's a time and a place where we'll get involved in stuff like that, and straight after the penalty shootout wasn't the time. The players will look after themselves then. I don't think any of the staff went on except for the 2 coaches. We just went on and started gathering coats and bits and pieces up and tidying up the dressing room, waiting for them to come back in. It wasn't our place to go over.
Yeah. Reiterate what Pat says. We would just give them the time and space. Like Pat says, the coach and I think the sports psychologist that we have with us went over there as well to have a chat with them. But no, there's nothing you can say at that time. You just need time to yourself, I guess.
And when the players did come back into the dressing rooms, were you guys about? What was the kind of debrief like? Did you hear what Southgate said to the players, or have any more chats before you all went your separate ways?
Just how sort of proud he was of them and hold their heads up high. And we've got Qatar in 18 months to go. You've done great. You haven't let anyone down, So that was it really. And we just, like Pat says, we just sort of going about our business, just trying to tidy up. And it's just difficult. It's just difficult situations. But we've been around long enough that we know that you just keep your head down and do your job and get on with it.
Yeah, same for you, Pat.
Yeah, actually, Neil gathers all the stuff up in the dressing room, and then I'm starting to take it out to load up. So I wasn't in there for that 3 or 4 minutes afterwards. I was trying to find the lorry to start loading the stuff up. So I didn't really hear what was said, but Gareth had been saying all along how the players have brought the country together. And we don't really get a great view of that on the inside. It's only when I come back now after it and the bubbles burst, and then you see everything and you start reading stuff and seeing the videos and the pictures and whatever, you realise how they brought the country together, because some of the scenes were unbelievable over the 5 or 6 weeks, weren't they?
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible.
We don't probably appreciate how big it is. I know I went out on Monday when I got back. I went out to our local pub. I say local, nobody knows me in there, but I just went with my wife for a drink. And there's probably about 8 guys in there, and they're all discussing the penalties. Why did this happen? Why did he? And you forget how big it is. I've just sort of kept my head down and just listening to what's going on around me. But it is quite surreal when you're listening to that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I can promise you it's all anybody has been talking about for the past month, and it's been absolutely superb. And thank you to both of you guys for being part of it. And, you lived our dream, and also we got to watch you, be part of this side that did so well, and we're all so proud of the whole team and everything like that. Will you two be sticking around for Qatar? Can they get rid of you?
Well, they could definitely. I always say to guys, yeah, we worry about selection as much as the players. Don't worry about that. We always treat our last camp as if it is the last one. You have to make sure you can't drop your guard. You're at the high end of the industry. And if me and Neil cock up, if we forget match kit, you're making the front of the papers. You're not getting a little clip on the radio. You're in the paper. So you got to keep your guard up. You can't drop your standards, and you have to make sure you're doing the job well. Hopefully, we'll get selected for the next. We got 3 games in September. I'm still worried about getting selected for that. And then mine Qatar in 18 months. I want to make sure I'm on the next camp.
Same for you, Neil.
Yeah, same for me. I'm excited about Qatar. It's only 18 months away. I don't think it's going to be a longest trip as normal, because I heard that I think when we meet up, we're playing a game a week later. We're straight into the World Cup because of the way it's trying to fit into the programme. I'm not 100% sure of all the dates, but I don't think it'll be as long as a normal camp that we've been on. But yeah, absolutely. I hope we can be a part of it again, to be honest.
And is it the FA who decide if you're working with the England team or not? Is it Southgate from the top? Is it him trying to get his team sorted? Who decides whether you're involved in the camp or not?
I think there's 2 or 3 people, actually. I mean, we'd like to think Gareth will say the Kitmen have done a good job. We'd like to keep them. But, there's people a lot higher up the chain than us. We don't actually work for the FA. We're brought in as consultants, as they call us. So, we have to, like I said, you have to make sure you do a good job, because, there's hundreds of Kitmen out there.
Well, if the players are happy and they're getting to semi-finals and finals, I'm sure you'll be looking ahead. There's just one more step to go. Hopefully we can achieve that in Qatar next year, and you guys can get your hands on the World Cup trophy as well. Pat, I just wanted to ask you about West Brom a little bit this season. Valérien Ismaël now in charge. Are you excited to see what he's got to bring to the Hawthorns?
Yeah, I am actually. Obviously, I tracked him a little bit at Barnsley when he won something like 12, 11 games on the spin. Neil supports Albion as well, by the way. There was obviously lots of deal there. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. If we can just try and keep hold of Sam if possible, and Pereira. Don't hold me to this, and I'm not encouraging you to gamble, but put your life savings on Albion winning the league this season.
Neil, are you that confident?
I'm probably not as confident as life savings, but yeah, I think I can't see any reason why we won't go straight up. And And I'm an Albion fan, as in I was sort of a home season ticket holder a few years back. I'm not as passionate, anywhere near as passionate as Pat is these days, but yeah, they're my club and I always look out for their results and I want us to do well, but I'm nowhere near in the league as Pat is, supporting him as diehard as he is. Are you still off to Woking this week?
Yeah, I'm off to Woking tomorrow night for a pre-season friendly.
Do either of you, I know you mentioned it before, Neil, about not getting recognised in the pub, and I know you're not as famous as the players, even though you might like to think you are, I don't know. Pat, are you getting recognised when you go to these sorts of places?
No, actually, I have to say Neil keeps a low profile, to be fair. I don't, I'm quite active on social media. But no, I've just been to Sainsbury's this morning and no one said, wait, let's give you a round of applause. Here's Pat Frost. I've just walked in. We don't get recognised, no.
You don't get free shopping or anything like that?
No, I don't. No.
All right, guys. Well, that is all my questions. So thanks for joining us on The Sportsman. And thank you again for your work this summer. It's been absolutely brilliant. Let's hope we can go one step further in Qatar.